Hi ladies, thanks for joining me. Hi Narina. Hi Fonzie, Louise, Rachel, hello. Thanks everybody for joining me. Going to have a bit of a serious chat tonight. Do one of my spiritual teachings. I haven't done a spiritual teaching for a while, and share just some insight of what it's like. There's a lot of people going through. I've done a lot of readings over the last probably month, 2 months, where people are coming to me with depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts, and so I just want to talk about that tonight. What's commonly known or being referred to at the moment as the dark night of the soul. So I'm going to talk about that. So it's yeah, it's how we awaken spiritually, really. It's how our soul, how we go from being human to a soul. I don't know, even though we're born with souls, but it's more about living it and being on our spiritual path. That's what tonight's about. So thank you for joining me. So I won't be checking who's online and who's not. I'm just going to chat for a while, and maybe after the session, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take questions or comments, or yeah, let's see how we go. So it won't be a lot, you know. It won't be. I don't think I'll talk for the full hour. I might. You know what I like. All right, so thanks for joining me tonight. Because I record this for YouTube as well, my name's Marion Weatherburn. I'm a psychic and sometimes a medium when they want me to be. It's up to them, not up to me. I've done over 5,000 readings. I'm an international author. Books are available to order nationally from any bookstore, called Between Two Worlds. I'm also a spiritual teacher, and I'm uploading videos to my spiritual library. Work on a soul level, a deep soul level. So that's why I've got this understanding. It's a gift that I have, and I know who my guides are, and I refer to them as my team. So regardless of whether in my past lessons I've talked to you about 5s and 6s, but tonight I'm just, you know, it's going to apply to everybody, basically. It doesn't mean that you're going to go through this, but for those of you that are, and I could probably count this many people right now that I know will be watching tonight, because yeah, I need to impart this wisdom in the hope that I can help at least one of you. I know there's a couple of you that are very seriously thinking about taking your own life at the moment, and we've had long conversations this week on a spiritual level as well. So I hope that tonight's session really helps you, and the posts that I've been putting up onto Facebook this week are all for you. Okay, so we're going to talk about detachment as well. So the dark night of the soul is different to depression. It presents differently, and I will go through why. I've actually written myself a whole bunch of notes, so I will refer to the notes. It's just that the information is so important in case you know somebody who's going through it. You know, those that helped me through it, you know, I'm ever so grateful to them. You know, some people walked away, and that will happen to you too. When you're going through it, people will leave your life. You've got to be prepared for that, and it actually adds to the misery. But afterwards you can look back and you go, oh right, that's why that happened. We can call it a wake-up call. We can call it a midlife crisis. We can call it a nervous breakdown. We can call it depression. But all of those are of the mind. It's different. It's a different thing. The dark night of the soul can be triggered by accidents, serious illnesses, deaths in the family, deaths of a loved one, betrayal, financial issues, loss of jobs, lost dreams, losing friends. Scary reality check as we all get older. We wake up one day and suddenly we're 55 looking at 60. You know, how many years do we have left? All of us know, you know, people that have already died. And that gives us a reality check of what life really is about, the meaning of life. The truth is that we live an egocentric life. We don't live a soul-centric life. but we should and we need to. And when we don't, when we get really off track, that's when the dark night of the soul happens. It happens for our best. You know, I now say, bring it on. You want to bring me shit, bring it on. You know, I embrace it. Don't be scared of it. Don't try to hang on to the life that was, because what happens afterwards when you come out of that tunnel, and I'll talk about that in a minute, is everything you've been trying to hang on to will come to you in abundance. That's true. It's true. And I can share snippets of my own story, but I don't want to bore you. We're all born with souls, but we don't all know how to use them. That's the truth. Even kids, you know. The dark night of the soul is a period of utter despair, spiritual disconnection, emptiness. We feel completely, I know in my case, I felt completely broken. I felt completely alone, and I know you guys do as well. I'm talking to, when I say you guys, I'm talking to the ones that are actually going through this at the moment, which is what's prompted me to talk about it tonight, is to give you hope. Let me inspire you. This time last year, for months, I went to bed every night not wanting to wake up in the morning. I did that for nearly a year. We feel a complete loss, sheer loss, sense of loss and loneliness. It's the most horrible place to be in the world, in your mind, and I know, yeah, deep sadness, despair for your own life, despair for humanity. The difference between depression and a dark night of the soul is depression is really, it's about us as in a way. It's about our ego. It's about, oh, I don't love my husband, or he doesn't love me, or I don't have enough money, or I don't like my mum and dad, or don't like where I live. It's all ego-based, depression is. Whereas the dark night of the soul is actually when we find ourselves asking the question, usually we look up and we go, what's the point? Why am I here? That's what that's about. And that's why we go through this, is to realise why we're here, to realise the point, and to realise how beautiful and wonderful that actually is. It is. But I do have to talk about the crappy stuff before I get to the good stuff. So please bear with me. You have an acute sense of unworthiness. You have a feeling that what you're going through, it will never get better. It will be like this forever. You just can't imagine it getting any better. You feel powerless. You feel like everything's happening to you, back to back to back to back to back. I know with me, I feel an A4 page, and each line was a crisis and a traumatic event that I went through in a period of 2 years. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Even my counsellor said to me, how are you still alive? It was my spiritual belief that kept me alive. It was my spiritual belief that got me out of bed every day. I know what happens when you suicide, and I write about that in my book. Your self-control is weak. Your will to live is non-existent. You feel like you don't matter. You feel like no one cares. And what's even worse than that is people do care. They want to help you, but you end up pushing them away because you feel like, well, I'm going to take my life anyway, or I'm going to, I don't know how this is all going to end. You can feel that it's going to get really ugly, and it's really hard to accept help from people. You feel unmotivated to do anything, housework, texting, getting out of bed, everything is an absolute effort. You have no interest in anything, particularly sex. Right, now I've got your attention. Yeah, no sex, like you just don't even feel like you don't even want it, that's a sure sign. Then you really know something's going wrong. And you have a longing for a place you want to call home. Even if you live in a home and you feel within you feel like you're not home, and you have a longing for a place to call home. It's the weirdest thing, but it's, you've literally hit rock bottom. And that dark tunnel that they talk about, you're in the middle of it. And you feel like there's no way out. However, that tunnel has got a bend in it, so you can't actually see the light, and you think it stops there. So all you've got to do is go around that point. However, before people go around that point, in order to see the light, a lot of people take their life at that point. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. The statistics of suicide through depression are climbing. The universe is awakening people more and more and more, and spiritual enlightenment. But spirituality's got to be about the whole thing. It's not just about the incense and the tarot cards and the angel readings. Spirituality is about the soul. The ultimate, the ultimate difference between the dark night of the soul and depression is that depression is of your mind. The dark night of the soul is more of a philosophical thing. What's the point? Why am I here? So there is actually a difference, and for those of you that are going through it, you will know, you can relate to what I'm talking about. When depression ends, depression usually ends with the use of medication. Okay, we start taking antidepressants. We have counselling and all that sort of thing. Yes, absolutely. I total respect to counsellors, but they counsel the mind. I'm a counsellor for the soul. So not after depression and you come out of that phase, nothing really has changed for you. Your beliefs, your values and your habits are usually still the same. You cannot get better in the environment that created the depression in the first place. Things have to change. Life eventually just returns to normal, to the way it was before you entered that tunnel. So all you've done with going into the tunnel is backed yourself back out into the light instead of coming forward into the light. I'm now standing in the light at the end of that tunnel. You know how they always say there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm standing in that light now. My life has never been better. I want to inspire you. My spiritual beliefs have kept me going through the darkest. You've got no idea how dark my life was, seriously. And I don't make secret of it, but it has made me a better person. When you come out of a dark night of the soul, everything in your life has been transformed, monumentally so. Life becomes wonderful, life becomes joyous. The smallest of things in life bring you joy. The sun coming in the window, the rain on the roof yesterday. Oh my God, watching the trees get that huge, all that rain over the weekend. You know, it was fantastic. You just get the small things, like somebody smiles at you. Oh my God, how beautiful. You would never have noticed that before. So I liken it to be, you know, the caterpillar going into the cocoon, coming out as the butterfly. So the dark night of the soul, you come in as a caterpillar, you go into your cocoon. The butterfly cannot come out of that cocoon too early. If you break open, as sometimes kids do, if you break open the cocoon, that butterfly cannot fly. His wings aren't ready. If he breaks it open, or if, you know, he won't be able to fly. He needs to come out when it's ready, and that's exactly what this process is like. You come into the tunnel as one person, or into the cocoon, and you come out totally different. I don't recognise myself to the person I was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. Such has been my transformation. I still look the same to a degree. But on the inside, I am my own best friend. When I left Adelaide a year ago, I was the last person I wanted to be alone with. I had no choice. I had hit bottom. I had lost my mum, my dad, my husband. There's a lot of other very, very personal issues that I don't want to bring out here, so I don't incriminate everybody, but it was the most horrible, horrible time in my life. But I went into my cocoon, which was my caravan, and I ran away. And it's fantastic. No, they're not tears. I don't even cry as much anymore, which is fantastic. You go into so you go in possibly soulless into this tunnel or into this cocoon, and you come out transformed. And all that you've been, and this is something I want to talk to you guys about. I don't know whether I've mentioned it through my readings and sessions during the week, but it's the things that people, I know that there's a couple of you that are hanging on to a love lost, and I know that some of you have gone through breakups, and that person keeps coming back into your life, and you have sex and it's all wonderful, and then they go back to their partners, leaving you in a bigger hole. Don't do it. You hang on to it for fear of losing it. Those precious few hours that you spend isn't worth the days and the weeks and the months of, you know, don't hold on anymore. Let go, because the sooner you get through that tunnel, the sooner you get in that light, the sooner all of that love comes to you, a love better than before. Money, your money issues are gone. Everything you've been holding now, the normal that you knew now had to go, and then you create a new normal, and it's wonderful, and everything feels easy now. You have new love, you have new friends, new jobs, a new home, happiness, true happiness, happiness from the inside. It's not happiness money can buy. You can't buy it. That's the person before. A true dark night of the soul changes you completely, completely from the inside, totally. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. You gain so much from going through a dark night of the soul. You gain absolutely nothing out of depression. Nothing. You might end up on medication. You come off that medication, you know, what's changed? Generally nothing. Medication's, you know, like a Band-Aid. It makes, you know, your partner might say, oh, go to the doctor, get some antidepressants, whatever. You know why that is? It's so that you become a better person to live with for them to deal with you. No. I felt like I had to die in order to live. I was so close. I reached a point of being totally empty. Nothing. Nothing. Nobody could hurt me anymore. Nothing could sadden me. And that's how I rebuilt myself, with my guides, with my team. The other thing, if you're going through this, please, I will say it to you again, just journal, write and write and write and write and write. Have a conversation with your own guides. Do a question and an answer format. You write your question, get them to answer it through automatic writing. I posted a thing on automatic writing. It's also on my website. It's real. Let them guide you through this. You do not have to think of this. And that's the thing, is that counsellors will counsel you through depression, but they cannot counsel you through a dark night of the soul. You are totally alone. That's why people suicide, is because they cannot cope with that, and it's horrible. But it was my spiritual belief, and it was my guides, and it was writing and journaling and being just hanging on to that hope, you know, like hope when there was nothing. It's like trying to breathe when there's no air. I don't know if you've ever felt suffocating, if you've ever not felt that, but it's a bit like that. Whilst you're in your cocoon, you shed your ego. You shed your limiting self-beliefs. You don't do that when you're going through depression. They're different. I don't discount depression at all. I totally know what depression's like, but I also know what the dark night of the soul is about. It was written about, a beautiful poem was written about it years and years ago, back in the 1800s, and I wish I could quote who wrote it, but I can't. When you come out of your tunnel into the light, and you come out of your cocoon as the butterfly, your soul is hungry. Your soul starts yearning, and you start to seek out like-minded people. You have found, by coming out of it, you have found the very meaning of life itself. You have found your soul's purpose by coming out and going through this. You don't do that when you go through depression. Two totally different things. Both shit, but this one, the dark night of the soul, is actually, turns out to be the bright day of the soul after the dark of the night. So when you come out, you start, things start happening. You start seeing signs. You start, you know, you might have psychic readings. You might go to a spiritualist church. You start seeking answers. And the other thing that they call the halo effect is that when you're going through the dark night of the soul, this is a fact. This is documented fact. When it's called the halo effect, so that when you're going through such desperate despair and desperation, lots of that, you start glimpsing, here's my phone, you start glimpsing spirits, angels, the universe bigger than what we live in, and you love it. It gives you the encouragement to go forward, to keep going. That's what gave me that's what kept me going. It's addictive. You feel it. You feel that love inside of you, and you want more and more and more. And then it goes away. And you feel like it's temporary, and you feel so sad once it's gone that you want it again. But it's shown to us to keep us going, to encourage us that there is more, there is more, there is more. And then when you do come out of that dark night of the soul, you start contact, you know, you'll be talking to your guides, you know, it's not a choice. Dark night of the soul is not a choice. It can happen to anybody at any time. You know, even the most wealthiest of people who are very comfortable, you know, in their homes and mortgages paid off, if kids are happy, you know, it can happen to anybody. Anybody, as part of your growth. Okay, so and to those of you that are doing Reiki or spiritual healing for people, please be really mindful that when you do work, when somebody presents to you with these symptoms of absolute despair and hopelessness, but they're saying you can discern whether it's depression or a dark night of the soul, and ask your guides and archangels and extra angels and extra Reiki masters and all those, you know, to come forth and give this person extra healing on that level to get them through, because people go through a dark night of the soul are actually more inclined to go through to do suicide than to people who are depressed. They are documented statistics. So if you are a healer, take the extra time to really fill that person with love and light and healing. When you come out, now I feel, for me, I know that I'm standing in the light. Good things, really good things are happening for me in my life now, and I have just, you know, I've spent so much time on my own over the last 12 months that I'm so used to it. You know, I haven't left the house here in 4 days. All I've done is write and work and just, you know, just be with myself, you know, and that years ago I would never do that. I never wanted to be on my, but I love it, you know, and it's so enriching for the soul, and it's good. It's a new place for me, and it's a place I'm still enjoying to be. It's like I've gone on holidays somewhere lovely, but I know that this me is here to stay, and you will get through too. I absolutely promise you. I do. I promise you. Let me inspire you. If nothing else, go, well, if Marion can do it, I can do it. When you come out of this dark night of the soul, another thing to do too is start to detach. You will actually. You won't. It won't be a conscious effort, but you will start to detach from everything in your life, and you will place your value elsewhere. You won't be placing your values on materialistic objects. You won't get your joy and your satisfaction or your status from material objects. You'll get them from people, from the sun, from smiles, from flowers, from the little things in life. That's where you'll fill your heart with joy. You won't go, oh, look, I got a new watch. Oh, look, I got a new, you know, like, it's not like that. No, it won't be like that ever again. And you won't ever, and I think when you go beforehand, you'll be the kind of person that really worries about what people think. I know I did. Now I don't. I really, 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 really love you lots, but it doesn't hoard to me like it used to, you know, at all. It's not. I know that there's no value in that, and I know there's no value in me worrying and me caring about that. You know, I give my best all the time, and it's easier to do. It's really, really easy to do. So yeah, that's just something I really want to share with you. Less is more. We come out with this beautiful understanding of the meaning of life. All those things that people are asking for. What's life about? What's life for? What does it mean? What's my point? Why am I here? All of that becomes very, very obvious when you come out. You'll realise your role. You'll realise your soul's purpose. You'll realise how important and significant you are. You won't worry about what people think about you. You won't. All of those things that you worried about before you went into dark night of the soul, and it could last months, years, but it's worth it. I know I've been to hell and back, and I know I won't be going again. It is a one-off. Depression is something that continues over and over and over. The dark night of the soul is a one-off. It is purely for your soul's growth, for your spiritual enlightenment. That's what it's for. It's also big. I can say that now, but man, it was shit when I was going through it. I reckon I cried every day for 6 months, day and night, driving in my little caravan and everything I had to deal with, you know, all that time. It's really, really hard, and it's really, really lonely, and nobody knows what you're going through except you. You don't want to burden people, you know, you accept their love, and your friends, you know, your dearest friends will get you through. And I'm grateful for that, and you'll have them too. But you will reach a point where you don't want to burden them, because, and even going to counselling doesn't really help. As I was saying to a dear, you know, somebody during the week, was that even we don't tell the truth to counsellors. We don't tell the truth to our friends because we don't want to shock them with what we're really thinking. But everything that we've been holding on to, like I was saying about this person, or there's a couple of you, it's probably at least 5 of you that I've spoken to during the week now, are hanging on to relationships that don't work anymore. That person has moved on, but you guys are holding on, and don't forget, this is where the power of the thought comes in as well, the law of attraction. The universe is quite simple. It actually gives us what we think about, because it's so busy trying to do everything it has to do. So if you're constantly thinking, bad stuff, okay, well, yep, that's what she wants. Okay, cool. Got that order's done. That. So every single thing, oh my God, I am writing a book about it at the moment, as you know, about signs and all that sort of stuff. And it will happen. But the reason why it's not happening is because more and more stuff keeps happening all the time that I want to include in the book to share or to make videos about for my spiritual library. It's amazing how quick, when you come out of this, how quick when you think of something that it manifests. Sometimes in the same day, sometimes within minutes, sometimes within an hour. I would love to share all of that with you, I don't want to bore you, but I just want to encourage you to not give up. Now, you know how the other thing a lot of people say to me too is, when's this going to happen, or when's that going to happen in my life? You know, people in readings and that, you know, and we're talking about big things, you know, and I say to them, you get one birthday a year, and you get one Christmas a year, and one New Year's Day a year. Right? And that's in 365 days. So for those 3 days, we're waiting 360 days for that to happen. But it seems like now everybody wants to be going through something or over something, or, you know, look, I want that over with, I want that in place. But the thing is, when people have all those things in place, when they get that new partner or that new job, they end up looking for something else. Oh, now I want to move house. You know, now this, now I want to go on holiday, you know, you're not happy, you know, and that's where after this dark night of the soul, you're not even looking for that stuff anymore. You know, you just, The peace here, I hope you can see it, because it's real and it's with me all day, every day now. You know, like I said, I don't recognise myself. I've had friends say the same thing. I want to encourage you to keep going. Never, ever, ever give up. And if any of you are that close, like you have been this week, in the last couple of weeks, you message me, you ring me, I'll be there. Just as a friend, just to help you through, because I know what it feels like. All right, you're not alone. I know some of you are alone. You feel totally alone, and I get that. I don't have any family, you know, not really. But you need to have somebody talk you through it. I can be that person. I have been that person for lots of people, even when I was going through what I was going through. A lot of people did. I was still trying to do readings, trying to help other people, you know, or people just messaging me for advice, not paid reading, but just people messaging me and, or, oh, Marion, can I just talk to you about that? Of course, that's my soul's purpose. I will always give. That's my calling. I get that. And no, I never get tired of it. I know people ask me if I get tired of doing readings. You know, I can do 6, 8 a day, you know, and I don't get tired of it because I'm helping. You know, I don't know how to put that better, you know. No, I love what I do. So I hope that you've got some insight into this, and I hope that it's been able to give you some understanding between depression and the dark night of the soul. And it's also, I want to give you some hope with this video, that, you know, you certainly, I was never going to do a before and after video, because you really didn't want to see what the before was like, but this is the after, and so I want to encourage you. That's all that I was going to talk about tonight. So it was just going to be a quick session tonight. I'm not doing any readings on Sunday night. I'm just, being the long weekend, I'm just going to let you guys have a long weekend, and I'm going to have a long weekend, and we're just going to relax, and I might drink some bubbles. I think that'll be good. Like, if you've got any questions, I do watch the videos afterwards. So tonight was a spiritual session. Next week, Thursday night at 7 p.m, I will do mini readings again, and cards, because I know you guys all love that. But anyway, thanks for listening, and I really do hope that tonight was of some benefit for you. Have a great weekend, a great long weekend, wherever you are. Stay warm. Bye now.